Hi there, grief growers. A quick note before we get into today's episode. I'm taking the month of December off the podcast to rest, reset, and make space for my own life after loss. This time of year, which I affectionately refer to as the tilt, can feel especially tender for me and for so many others. But instead of going quiet, I'm re-airing the 4 most popular episodes of 2025. These are the episodes that listeners and viewers on YouTube came back to again and again. So if you are grieving, caregiving, or just trying to survive this holiday season, I hope they offer you something steady to lean on. And because the holiday season and the turn of a new year can stir up so much, memories, dread, pressure, rage, all of it, I want to make sure you have support. You can join Life After Loss Academy for 1 month free with the discount code New Year's Grief. This is my online grief community filled with practical tools, weekly support calls, and a space where your grief is always welcome. Again, that is New Year's Grief, all caps, all one word. If this month feels complicated because time keeps going for better and for worse, come be with people who get it. Thank you for being a listener this year and growing through grief with me. Now here's today's episode.
Grief is a thing that leaves so many of us unmoored and untethered and disconnected from the world and from our people and even from ourselves. And while no affirmation has the power to undo all of that, helpful affirmations and simple affirmations can offer what feels like structure or stability in this big, amorphous, shape-shifting blob of grief. Hi there, grief growers, and welcome back to Grief Grower. I am so glad to be joining you here again, as always. If you have been growing alongside me in my work for a while, welcome back. And if you are new to me and my work, hello. My name is Shelby Forsythia. I am a grief coach, 2-time, soon-to-be 3-time author, and founder of Life After Loss Academy, which is an online program that has helped dozens of grieving people stop feeling lost, stuck, broken, and alone in the aftermath of loss, and start building lives that they genuinely love from the lives that loss forced them to live. This, of course, not only includes death-related losses, but also things like divorce and breakup, major diagnosis, job loss, pet loss, and any other major loss that changes your life. And here, as with every other bit of work that I do, we believe that grief is not something to get over. It is something that we grow with and alongside for the rest of our lives, and that when we treat grief less like a problem to be solved and more like an experience to be had or an invitation to live more deeply, we create meaningful lives that are rich with the memories that we carry and the struggles that we faced, and also the preciousness of what it means to be alive right here, right now. This week on the show, I'm slowing us down a little bit because life's been real rough for me recently. If you tuned into last week's episode, you know that May is now it's the most griefiest time of the year season. And this week I wanted to just bring you 15 affirmations for life after loss. And this is because in the midst of things feeling overwhelming and just spiraling, and like there really is no solid ground to stand on, sometimes just saying a single sentence or a few sentences can help you feel like you can hold your grief, like there is a place for it. And when you choose words with care when it comes to your grief and use them with intentions, they can't magically fix your grief, of course, but they can anchor you into the moment, and they can kind of wrap a soft blanket around any sort of critical or nagging inner voice and remind you that grief does not require perfection from you. It only requires presence. So today on the show, I want to give you 15 grief affirmations, and because I can't help myself, I wanted to organize them a little bit. So they are organized in 3 sections, and these are the top emotional experiences that students in my online course, Life After Loss Academy, report feeling when it comes to grief. So the first set of affirmations are for when you feel lost. The second set of affirmations are for when you feel broken or shattered by grief. And the last set of affirmations are going to be for when you feel alone. So whichever of these resonates with you, and obviously you can pick and choose from multiple sections here, I hope that these 15 affirmations bring you comfort and a chunk, like a tiny piece of portable concrete, as you navigate life after loss. So if you have nothing else to stand on right now, or nowhere else that feels safe in the world, I hope that these can be a start for you. So let's start with affirmations for when you feel lost. And the reason I wanted to write a series of these is because lost or stuck is like the number one most reported experience by the grievers that I work with. It's not sad, and it's not angry, and it's not that one of the 5 stages of grief. It's I feel lost or I feel stuck. And this makes a lot of sense because grief often strips away our sense of identity or direction or certainty about where the heck we were going in life. You may not know who you are anymore without the person or the life that you lost, and it can feel more than overwhelming to try to move forward when you don't know what's up ahead. So these affirmations honor the fog of grief without the pressure to be certain of where you're going. The first one is, I don't have to know the end destination to take a step today. And in a world of goal-oriented questions of what do you want to be when you grow up, and when are you buying a house, and when are you having kids, and what's next after school, it's really freaking normal to feel this constant pressure to know all the time exactly where you're going and exactly how you're getting there. But the truth is, especially after loss, you don't. And in life after loss, often you can't. And when you are unable to see the whole map of the rest of your life, or even to draw it out for yourself, it is really okay to take one step today. And when you release the need to know exactly where you're headed, you can focus kind of micro, get smaller on what you need and want in this moment. If I don't have to worry about where I'm going to be in 3 weeks or 3 months or 3 years, I can focus on what is most helpful to me in the next 3 seconds, in the next 3 minutes. It's a shifting of time or a reframe of time in grief. The second one in this category is I am not lost. I am in a sacred season of searching. And this is a cheeky reframe that takes the negative view of lost as confused or disoriented or ignorant that a lot of us apply to ourselves, that critical voice in our head when we're grieving, and positions lostness instead as a spiritual or a soul level recalibration. Now, I know this won't resonate for everybody, but it certainly will resonate with a few of you, because people who are spiritually seeking, you might also call them lost, but you might also say they're seeking something. And many spiritual and religious practices throughout the years kind of honor and celebrate this tradition of being in a season where you don't have all the answers. And what that does is makes room for things like uncertainty to turn into awe and wonder and curiosity and question asking, instead of mentally beating yourself up that you don't have a plan and you may not know for sure where you're going or what you're up to. Okay, number 3 in affirmations for feeling lost when you're grieving. The person I'm becoming still belongs to the people I've lost. So many grieving people tell themselves the stories that all is lost, everything has changed, nothing will be the same again. And while these stories have some measure of truth in them, life after loss is not, and I need you to hear this, starting from nothing. I'm going to say it again. Life after loss is not starting from nothing. You have not gone back to zero. Even when you feel lost, the person that you are right now is made up of all of the people you've ever loved and the versions of yourself that got you to this point in your life. You have foundations and memories and lessons and wisdom at your disposal. And moving forward does not mean forgetting. It doesn't mean sliding back to square one. It means you bring everything and everyone with you into the future. Number 4, in affirmations for feeling lost and grief. I'm willing to wait and see what's next for me. I call this being in wait and see mode because grief is exhausting, and it's really understandable that at some point you might just throw up your hands and say, screw it, I am done trying to figure this out in response to the pain of loss. And when you feel yourself at this breaking point, try any affirmation, it can be this one, that starts with I am willing. Because even when you don't feel ready to take next steps, being willing to see what's next opens the door once again to curiosity. It is another way of saying, I may not have the energy right now to make an effort, but I'm open to receiving whatever comes next. And if you're familiar with any sort of surrender meditations, yeah, this is a backdoor way you can surrender in the face of feeling lost. Last one in this section, one day I'll understand that I was growing, even here, even now. And this is a play on even through grief we are growing, and this is the send-off that I end every single one of my podcast episodes with. This is rooted in the grief belief that even when you cannot see evidence of it, some sort of growth is always happening. You might be focusing on stability and planting invisible roots in the ground. You might be focusing on recalibration in this season and figuring out, how do I live through every new day? You might be pruning off friendships or relationships or setting up boundaries around your heart. And even if none of these things rings true for you, consider that sometime down the road, future you will someday have words and meaning. They'll look back and have words and meaning for this season of your life. You will see eventually all of the small and powerful ways that you are growing through this time. Okay, part 2. Let's do affirmations for when you feel broken, because so many grieving people say, loss has shattered the life I once knew. Grief has broken me beyond all repair. And in a society that prizes people who appear polished and smiling and put together, trying to get through life after loss can make you feel like this ugly, molting, wind-battered pigeon that has just shown up in a sea of beautiful peacocks. Everybody's got their shit together and you're like the odd man out. One of my clients once described it as trying to build a new life in the rubble of a bomb going off and everyone wondering why you're not doing better. What's wrong with you? So these affirmations are not meant to force you back together into one piece, because affirmations do not have that power. They are here to remind you that brokenness does not equate to unworthiness. Those are not the same thing. Okay, number 1 in this section. My grief is not a sign that something is wrong with me. It is a sign that I am human. Our society often teaches that pain is a signal that something is wrong and needs to be fixed. And this is true for something like a broken bone, but it's not true for something like grief. Continuing to feel pain after a loss means that you cared about the person, the pet, the relationship, the dream, the life that you lost. In other words, feeling grief is not a defect or something that's wrong with you. It's a sign that you are working properly. Next one. When my heart is broken open, I am open to receive. This is another surrender affirmation, and it's inspired by the Rumi quote, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." I'm not sure if you've heard that before, but I wrote about it in my daily grief devotional, Your Grief Your Way, so you can grab a copy of that if that resonates with you. But the gist of it is that sometimes when we are at our most beat down or raw or vulnerable, we are able to notice and receive things that we were not able to in our life before. These could be insights about the way we're living, how we arranged our priorities, who we have as friends, how we take care of ourselves. And so it's sometimes worth asking, this affirmation invites you to ask, what messages are coming through in this brokenness? What revelations are you having, even very small ones? Where are you saying, I can't do this anymore, or they're no longer a good fit for me, or this job is no longer something that resonates with my heart? These may be things that are popping up in this place where you're vulnerable. I can't keep going on like this is something that many grieving people report facing of the way I was doing things before is not sustainable, is a message that often comes through. The next one here in this section, number 3, is just like salt does not ruin the sea, grief does not ruin me. And I did not mean for that one to rhyme, but there you go. You get a gift of a rhyming one. Grief lives within you, as it lives within all of us, but it does not make you anything less than what you are. It is an inherent part of you. So whether you are feeling stormy or still, or frigid or warm and welcoming, you and your grief are valid. And just like the ocean, you can have 8,000,000 presentations, even chaotic and uncertain ones that are scary even to you, and still consider yourself one whole living organism. Number 4, I don't have to feel fixed to be worthy of rest, joy, or belonging. And this affirmation is a direct FU challenge to productivity culture and toxic healing narratives, aka good vibes only, or keep calm and carry on, because rest, joy, and belonging are not things that you earn when you stop being broken. You deserve them right now, as you are. And just like grief, they, rest, joy, and belonging, are ingredients to your wholeness. They are a part of that ocean of which you are already. I'm mixing some affirmations, maybe you can too. Last one for this section. I loved, insert your loved one's name here, in their brokenness. I can love me too. And this is exclusive to if you have loved someone through a hard season of your life, which is many of us. So if you've lived long enough, you have probably loved and supported somebody you care about through a season of brokenness. They can be alive or dead. They can be here or long distance. So use their name in this affirmation. This could be a friend whose parent died, a sibling who went through a divorce, a neighbor who received a life-changing diagnosis, a coworker who had a really rough season of life last year. Remember how your heart ached for them and how you focused your energy on pouring compassion in their direction, whether through your words or your actions or something else, and considering how you showed up for somebody else in their darkest hours can help you recognize that you are worthy of that same level of care for yourself. And not only that, but you have the ability to offer it because you've done it before. This is not your first I am caring for someone who is broken rodeo. You've done it for insert their name here. They may be somebody who's gone ahead. They may be somebody who's died. They may be somebody who is here and very much alive. You loved them in a season of their brokenness. You can love you too. You have the power and the ability and the gift to be able to do that. And I know this won't resonate with everybody, but especially for those people who have taken care of everybody else and now grief has swept through your life. And you're like, who will take care of me? Who will see me? I can take care of me. I see me. Because you have already taken care of and seen so many others through their own hard seasons of life. It is a skill that you have within you, and that in some ways all of us have within us, and we cultivate through living in life after loss. Our next section here is affirmations for when you feel alone. And this was one that was so true for me after my mother's death, because even though I knew other members of my family were grieving, I was convinced that they didn't feel as intensely or deeply about the grief as I did, because I had so many other emotions in addition to sadness that were playing with my grief. Because loneliness is not just about being physically alone, although it can be. It is also the ache of feeling unseen or misunderstood or excluded from circles that maybe you used to be a part of, which can also be a thing that happens in grief. And in Life After Loss Academy, which I talked about at the top of the show, we often discuss how while everyone grieves, grief is a universal experience. The person going through your unique loss and your unique circumstances is you. No one else can figure this out for you. As one of my favorite astrologers, Chani Nicholas, says, no one's coming to save you. They can help and support you, but ultimately your experience with grief at some point is solely your own. And there is loneliness in recognizing, holy crap, that's real. So these affirmations, these next 5, speak to that space of ache where community may feel somewhere over there, but connection is still possible right here. The first one, this is one of my favorites. We have a couple exercises for this inside Life After Loss Academy. There are others who feel this too, even if I never meet them. In moments of despair, it can be really, really, really comforting to picture yourself not as this being just floating alone in the vast darkness of space, but surrounded by a constellation of other grieving people near and far, past and present, living or dead, who have been through what you're going through right now. Even when you're alone, you belong to everyone who has ever grieved, and your pain, whether you can see it this way or not in every moment, regardless, without your even trying, is always part of a shared, invisible web of other people who are heartbroken and facing grief as well. There was nothing more you had to do except experience loss to be a member of this club, and nothing can ever exclude you from it. And it's something, for me at least, that's really comforting to think about. Okay, number 2. Even if no one sees my grief, I am still allowed to feel it. This is a flag planting in the ground affirmation, because some of the losses that we face will never be acknowledged by the people closest to us, not to mention society writ large. These sorts of disenfranchised griefs, things like pet loss or estrangement, job loss, chronic illness, infertility, are incredibly valid and incredibly painful, but it's common for us to try to talk ourselves out of treating them like real losses because the people around us in society doesn't treat them like real losses. So in moments when even no one else understands, you are still allowed to feel this grief. And when you give permission to yourself to plant the flag in the ground and call it grief and make space for it, life becomes a little less lonely. because you're stopping convincing yourself that your emotions aren't valid and start treating yourself like your pain is real. Okay, next one. I am not alone. Grief is beside me always. Love is beside me always. One of my all-time favorite authors, Elizabeth Gilbert, writes about the metaphor of driving a car with both creativity and fear along for the ride. And in Life After Loss, I like to think of grief and love as coming along for the ride. No matter where you go or what you do, grief is present and love is present. What does grief have to say about where you are and where you're going? What does love have to say in response? So reframing loneliness instead as a three-way conversation between you and grief and love is one way to feel supported and a little bit less alone as you move forward. You have presences, emotional presences surrounding you, even in the midst of loneliness. This one is another one of my favorites here because it's good for woo-woo people like me who believe we're still in contact with our people who died and our pets who died, and it's also good for non-woo-woo people. It is, I am surrounded, protected, and cared for in ways I'll never know. And again, whether you believe your loved ones have the power to support you after death, or you have a strong network of friends and family who care about you in real life, this affirmation is all about shifting your focus from alone, alone, alone to love, love, love. After a breakup in college, somebody I deeply love encouraged me to make a love tree of everyone in my life who wanted good things for me. And it wasn't people who had proven themselves by reaching out, and it wasn't people who clearly displayed that they were invested in my situation. She just prompted me to make a list of everyone who wished the best for me, who wanted my life to be good and okay and for me to be happy. And my list got so long that it surprised even me. And even if, once again, even if this list of people never reached out with comforting words or actions, although that would have been, some icing on the cake, simply pausing for a moment each day to picture this tree of loved ones and people surrounding me and just going about their lives and wishing me well is something that brought me peace. And you can choose to do that with people who are here on earth with you and pets who are here on earth with you, or people and pets who have died that would still want the best for you. A lot of people think of this as ancestors watching over or loved ones protecting and surrounding, guardian angels, things of that nature. But you can feel a little bit less alone in grief by considering who and naming who is surrounding, protecting, and caring for you, even in ways that you'll never know. I don't know what my mom's up to on the other side. I don't always know what my best friend is up to on the other side. I don't know what my cat is up to on the other side. I trust they want me to live a good life. I trust they want me to be happy. I trust they are making things happen in magical ways I do not understand so that life works out okay for me. It's something that makes me feel less alone. Maybe that's true for you as well. And again, it doesn't have to be dead people. If the afterlife is not a thing you believe in, you can certainly bring it right back here to earth. What friends, what family, what coworkers, what neighbors that you smile at that may not even know your name would want lovely and wonderful things to you, and they are surrounding you with that energy in ways seen and unseen. Okay, last one here. My person or pet, insert here, comes with me every single day. As you continue to live life after loss, it is normal to notice all the ways that your loved one is no longer present, and that is heartbreaking. And also, in life after loss, you have the power to choose. You get to choose how you want to carry them forward. Do you want to be a walking embodiment of their selflessness or humor or kindness or friendliness or love of cheese? Do you want to continue their habit of making morning tea or donating to causes or complimenting a random stranger? You have the power to decide how you want your loved one to show up in your day-to-day life. This can be done through rituals. This can be done through thinking of them, having some sort of mindfulness practice surrounding them, even just saying this affirmation. They get to come with me every single day. This brings them closer to you, closer to your memory, and can help you feel like they are with you in each moment. Once again, whether or not you believe in an afterlife, you can still bring traits of them forward with you into the future. So that's all 15 I have for you, but I don't want to let you go without also telling you how you can use grief affirmations in your life. There are a bunch of ways to fold them in. Some you've probably thought of, some you may not have thought of, some I may not mention, so I would love to hear from you. You can say affirmations aloud in a mirror, you can sing them in the shower, or you can whisper them to yourself in bed before you go to sleep if that resonates with you. Sometimes thinking on an affirmation is a way to rest the brain and to fall into sleep, and sleep can be tricky when you're grieving, so that might be an especially helpful one. If you're anything like me, you're obsessed with sticky notes, so you can write them on sticky notes and post them all around your house. This is something I did. It was helpful when I lived in a studio apartment. Even in a studio apartment, I had them in the bathroom, I had them on the mirror above my dresser, and I had them in the tiny kitchenette. It was all one room, but they were everywhere. You can certainly use affirmations as a journaling prompt or a jumping off point for writing, whether you do this in the morning or evening or any other time of day. You can pick an affirmation to repeat when overwhelm or hopelessness feels especially loud. Some people will write them on stones or pieces of paper and keep them in a wallet or a pocket. So that's something you're certainly welcome to do as well. You can weave them into an embroidery or paint them as a piece of art. You can really get pretty with these as much as you like. You might record yourself or someone you love, like a friend or a child, saying these affirmations to you and play the recording back when you feel untethered. I also encourage you just to revisit this podcast when you feel untethered and remembering which ones resonate with you, and they may be different in different seasons of your life. And finally, you can use this list of 15 affirmations as inspiration to write your own. You might say, Shelby, this one kind of resonated, but I'd like it better if it sounded like this. Take it and run with it. Please do. They're yours. You get to use them however you like. And please remember, the goal of saying affirmations, and I'll kind of keep this always at the forefront, is not to erase pain. It is to speak truth in your grief in a way that honors both your humanity and the fact that your heart is broken. It is a way to root yourself into something that feels solid right now. It's like gripping onto that piece of portable concrete so you can keep moving forward in the way that works best for you. It's like you're scooting that little piece of concrete down along the path. It's like, while I don't know what the path is made of, I don't even know where I'm going, this little tiny block is something for me to stand on. This little affirmation is something I know and feel to be true in my life right now. Grief is a thing that leaves so many of us unmoored and untethered and disconnected from the world and from our people and even from ourselves. And while no affirmation, again, has the power to undo all of that, helpful affirmations and simple affirmations can offer what feels like structure or stability in this big, amorphous, shape-shifting blob of grief. One more time, these affirmations are not meant to bypass your pain or polish your heart into something that looks prettier to the outside world. They are here to help you be present with what's true for you and to soften things that hurt right now, and to remind you, as I say at the end of every podcast, that even through grief, you are growing. May these words meet you exactly where you are. That's all for this episode of Grief Grower. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're looking for grief support beyond the show, you can find free workshops, blog articles, and my What's Your Grief Support Style quiz at shelbyforsythia.com/links. If this podcast felt validating, comforting, educational, or otherwise helpful to you, please subscribe and leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And be sure to share this show with a friend, because you never know what someone you love is going through. A huge thank you to the Grief Growers community for supporting this show on Patreon. If you'd like to join them and help me keep this show ad-free, because grief is hard enough without commercials, head to patreon.com/shelbyforsythia. As a Patreon supporter, you help me choose new topics and guests for the show, like this one, and you're the first to get behind-the-scenes access to all of my upcoming projects, like the book I mentioned at the top of the show. Grief Grower is hosted by yours truly, Shelby Forsythia, and the theme music is composed by our own Eddie Goldstein. Until next time, I see you. I am so proud of you and the work that you're doing in the world, and I love you, because even through grief, we are growing.